Some things were testing you guys too. I was really trying to hold off with the rain for you guys.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the quick practice.
So, I was hoping to say, okay, we'll see who really cares and who really wants to. So that's kind of the challenge we have for our guys too. You know, practice 12, 11, whatever. I can't 11 or 12, whatever it is. But the idea is that obviously Saturday's a big day for us. Sometimes you get those days where they come out like thinking about Saturday instead of today. And I thought they did a great job leadership-wise. They're starting to step up and set the example for how you have to practice, how you have to respond in all different situations. Because it was a little more competitive situations today. It wasn't like this was going to be a day, hey, let's get prepared for Saturday. This is a day we got to continue to push and, you know, give ourselves opportunities to grow, and offensively, defensively, and special teams as well. So challenge was met by those guys, and I thought they did a great job. And I thought, not the first time, but I think a bigger opportunity here for some of our leadership to step up and show up.
What are you kind of expecting on Saturday? What are you hoping for on Saturday?
Really competitive stuff, you know. I think more than anything is just see guys play and perform. You know, see if we can kind of get that mentality to let it fly and not worry about mistakes, you know, because in practice, you know, you're getting coaches there. A lot of those situations where, you know, if you make a mistake and they're correcting you, and so now you're going to get the first time we were actually on the sidelines. Guys got to go out and play. Hopefully, there's a little bit of an environment to see how these guys. Because look, we don't know. You know, I mean, very few of us have actually seen some of these guys. I was fortunate enough to be there, see their eyes in a bowl game. But I think it's a big deal to just kind of let them fly and see who kind of has that opportunity that sometimes their levels change and things go up, and you see guys that, you know, are young and maybe, you know, a little bit hesitant in some of those situations. So I think more than anything, it's about, hey, who kind of lets it fly, who doesn't, you know, play a little bit more passive and think too much.
What kind of structure?
A lot of times coaches will say, you know, if you go one against one or good against good, you're going to see plays on both sides of the ball. And your defense made some plays today, but do you also reinforce your quarterbacks the need to protect the ball, particularly in the red zone after?
Oh, there's no doubt. There's a lot of things that we're going to kind of hammer upon this. You'll see. Hopefully, you won't see it in Saturday on what the points differentiate when you do a turnover inside the red zone, because it's astronomical. But it's not just the points. It's an incredible momentum shift. It's an incredible shift for one side that's unbelievable, and for the other it's so deflating. So I think those are the things that we want to continue. That's why we have to have competitive situations, because we got to put them in that and see how they handle and see how they respond. And I think today there's a lot of those things we can evaluate.
What kind of structure are you planning for on Saturday? Like, how's it going to look?
There'll be 11 guys on the defense side of the ball, 11 guys on the offensive side of the ball. It's kind of they'll start at a -25, and basically every series will be at least 6 plays, unless there's a turnover. But it's all based on if you get a first down the first 3 plays, then your drive, no matter what, continues. You know, if you get a first down the first 3 plays, then your next drive will begin wherever that drive ends. If you don't get a first down those first 3 plays, then your next drive will begin 10 yards back from wherever you ended that next drive. So it really puts an emphasis on obviously those first 3 plays, and then obviously if you get a big play, a +15 on a run or +20 on a pass, then obviously the drive continues no matter what happened in the first set. So there's some situational stuff where offensively, defense, they won't be thinking about it. You know, it's not like the guys going to call it based on, oh my goodness, we didn't get a first down, now we've got to have a 20+ play to drive. But I think it sets the understanding defensively, even what the drives continue to give up big plays. And then offensively, you recognize it's really tough to do this methodical thing all the way down the field if you can't create some big plays. So I think all those things being said, they won't understand all that. They'll just know the ball's going down. It's going to be a really competitive situation with a unique little scoring just to make it interesting.
You guys bring really good visits. What do you hope to show about the program? What do you hope to get out of it?
To me, we want to highlight our players, our kids, our culture, our environment. That's what's hard in the spring, because they don't get to spend as much time here. You know, if they are here for a day, you know, they get to see a little bit of practice and meet with a couple guys and the coaches. I think more than anything, I want our players to take ownership in this program. So when guys come on campus, these are the people that might represent them when they walk away. And so we want them to take pride in that. We want them to, obviously be around these guys, but have a great influence on them positively, but also to give us some feedback, because a lot of times they'll know a little bit more about these guys the time they spend with them. So I think it's all encompassing. I think that we can draw them in the relationship with a coach, but what's going to keep them here and make them successful at doing what they do is that environment that's within that locker room.
guessing you guys have a pretty good idea what you have in Braylon Allen and Chase. But for the third spot, and looking at a lot of guys, does 44 have a chance? I mean, I know he's
Gator.
Long will call, and he calls him Riggins.
John Riggins. I'm not sure a lot of you guys know who John Riggins is.
They don't.
I know.
But does he? I know he's just a walk-on and he's young, but do you have a chance down the road?
There's going to be roles for everybody. Okay. I think that the unique thing is maybe a role is a short yardage, maybe a role is some other situational stuff. But when these guys are out here and they have the opportunity to show, improve some things, I think it gives them a lot greater opportunities as we go into the fall. Because now is a lot about learning, a lot about development, a lot about fundamentals and things like that. The fall becomes about preparing to win football games, and so those guys are proving some things right here, and in particular, to as we get into the fall, say, okay, hey, there's a role here for guys like this. Because there might not be nearly as many opportunities in the fall, but we already are seeing what it is that we need to see.
We've heard about the ISO cam last few weeks, something that you brought from the Cincinnati days. Just where did that start for you, and what are some of the things that you look for?
Everybody has a different vision of what effort really looks like, and until you actually see some things, and the greatest effort guy in the world, there's still somebody out there that goes a little bit more, and there's nothing like actually seeing, right? Don't tell me, show me, and so when you have an opportunity to kind of focus in and see it, you can see some different things. You can see a strain level, you can see an intensity level, and I think it's, amongst your peers, I think it's a really, powerful thing. No matter what in your mind, how hard you think you go, all of a sudden you watch it and you recognize some things that you can do better. So I think it's twofold. I think it helps me and us understand what, effort intensity looks like, but it really helps those guys kind of recognize the things that, we want to see. It doesn't just happen on Saturdays.
You can do live tackling on Saturday?
So we'll go live on Saturday. I think the first half will be live for everybody. The second half, the ones will not go live. We'll just thud up the second half with the ones. Otherwise, the 2 and 3s will be live. So, and it's not just who's the ones and who's the 2s, but there are some situational stuff where, okay, we don't need to see a ton of shots at Braylon and Ches and those guys. So, do we need to see them carry the ball 10 times? No, I don't think we do. But I think that, you get a few in there, we can do that. And then the second half for some of those guys, it's not necessary for us maybe to continue to have those live situations. But I mean, as you see, it can be as physical and tackles go to the ground just by nature of the competitive spirit.
With the place kicking duties, we saw Nate and Nathaniel working there. Any clear indications on this with the competition?
The great indication is there's some competition, as you saw those guys step out there and some clutch situations where the whole team's watching and kind of nail it. And I think the more we can put those guys in those situations, again, to see how they will handle and react and respond, does nothing but give us a better opportunity to create that competition. If there's no competition, it's harder to get better. So I think more than anything right now, we're seeing some competition, not just at those other spots, but in the kicker spot as well.
Jason, obviously you brought some experience. You lost Jason later.
Okay.
Just what you brought some experience with him. What have you seen from the spring?
He's a competitor. I think when you look at the culture of the program, what we want to be, competitive spirit is a big part of it. And people all compete in different ways. I mean, just because they talk and they have energy, that doesn't mean they're the only ones that compete. But he does bring a little something different with a fire and a competitive spirit. It's pretty obvious out there. And, so I think more than anything, it gives us some depth. It gives us an opportunity to put some more guys, maybe some athletic guys more on the field based on what it is that we're getting. But more than anything, I think hopefully he has shown a little bit of that fire and that competitive spirit that, that we really love to see. And to become, whether he's a new guy or not, those new guys have to embrace a lot of things about this place. And I think more so they've done a great job of that, as well as be themselves when it comes to it.
How do you try to balance giving the guys that are here already the full eval that you want to, and then looking at the transfer portal just with the calendar that's set up right now where the guys are able to come in right now?
Well, I think we know that there's some certain areas we just want to create some more competition and maybe be a little bit thinner. And it doesn't mean you're guaranteed to be able to find some of those things. It's still, if you're going to bring a guy in, it's still about the right fit. It's not just about the player. Right? There's a lot of great players out there, but you put them in a place where it's not a great fit for them, and you can really hurt yourself more than you help yourself. So I think there's a balance there. Those are things that we'll peek at and look at, and we'll always kind of try and find ways to find the right ones that can provide something more for us and our team, but nothing that we believe wouldn't fit personality-wise and culturally-wise before anything else.
Luke, it seems like Jonas DeClone or Jace Arnold have been getting a good amount of reps with the twos. What have you seen from those two in their development so far?
they're young, they're competitive. They bring some athleticism and some speed that I think that is pretty obvious. And that's what this is about. Those guys come to school here early to get these opportunities, and I think the more we can get them out there, the faster that they have an opportunity to grow. And not that the older guys don't need the opportunity, but obviously there's some guys like that have been here for 4 years and this is their 5th spring ball. I mean, how much time do they really need? I mean, there's time, but I think more than anything, we're trying to find ways, those guys that come in early, to get them out there on the field, give them an opportunity to just play and let their natural talents, kind of show.
As I mentioned about the right fit often, which is obviously it's important. But just curious what the right fit is, what you describe as the right fit for.
It's not any one thing. The right fit is the guys who buy in and believe in the culture. They understand that there's a sacrifice, that there's a commitment level. If you're just coming here to rent and you're just coming here to think it's going to give you an opportunity to make it to the next level, I don't think you'll be successful. Because if you don't embrace all the things that we think are important, from the team side of things, of how we do things and how we sacrifice for one another, and it's really difficult to have success. I've had those guys come in before that we made a mistake on that just think I'm just here to play ball. And if you're just here to play ball, what we ask you to do and hopefully the way in which we ask you to do it and the intensity we ask you to do it with, you can't do it by yourself. And so you're really trying to figure out, are these guys going to embrace all the things that we want the program to be about, what the history to be about. Most importantly, we don't want guys that want to be renters. And that's hard to say when you got a guy, I'm only going to be here for 9 months. I can tell you this, that as Tanner's been here for a short amount of time, a lot of these guys, I don't feel like we got a lot of renters. I feel like we got guys who are taking pride in what it is that they've done here in the past and what we can do in the future.
Thanks. Appreciate it.